everyone, this is Danish from jobskillshare.org. We are starting part 3 of our IT lab talk videos in the series. If you don't know anything about it, make sure you watch the first videos by going to youtube.com, type JobSkillShare and then search, click on playlist, and then you will see part 3 in this playlist. So let's get going, and we are in CompTIA A+. We're gonna go ahead and click on that, and today we're talking about managing system storage. Now let's talk about that because this is a talking video. So if I click on it, it is talking about introduction and virtual disks, configure software RAID, and then summary. Now let's talk about a little bit reality over here. How much of you should know about virtualization and virtual disk, and in a real world are you going to be dealing with this kind of stuff a lot? It really depends on where you work. If you work for a company that is, let's say for example, in a technical company, and their clients are more of virtualization type of environment, and you're the help desk for that company, then you will be working on a lot of virtualization like VMware, Hyper-V virtualization, and even some other Citrix ones and some other ones that they're going to be using. But in a normal help desk, like I said, you go work for like a non-profit organization where they have like 200 to 300 people, you're going to be working more on other side of things, working with images and fixing issues, working with Outlook, Microsoft Office, Office 365. These are the type of issues that you're going to be working mostly, and we'll cover that also. So do you really need to know this stuff? Yes, you do need to know this stuff, because sometimes you may need to configure some type of virtual environment or virtual disk for a specific reason, maybe that you're either for your lab or maybe you're working with someone. So you should know this one. So I'm not going to go too much in this one because I don't really think that this is that important right now. I mean, it is important, but it's not that important. The second one, I won't even go inside. Configure software RAID. It is rare. It is rare for us, for a help desk, for entry-level people to be working on RAID stuff. Now you should know that because that's where you are advancing your skills and stuff like that, and this is why you have this lab, to understand this and search more about RAIDs and stuff like that. But this is when it comes to RAIDs and stuff like that, that's more of a system admins or network engineers or people who are at that level, and they're working with a lot of basically working with systems so they can have redundancy and things like that. So they work on RAIDs a lot, and for them that's going to be the most important lab. For you guys, I don't think so. You guys can skip this one too. I mean, I'm skipping it. You're not skipping it. You can just kind of learn it. So the second lab that we're going to talk about is securing Windows user account access. Now, of course, this is something that you as a help desk person should know, because you're going to be working with accounts, a lot of accounts, and it could be either creating an account right in the beginning where you set up a computer, like a brand new fresh image, and your company may give you certain type of rules that, okay, you can use administrator account in the beginning, but then you need to change it and and give it a different name, passwords, and things like that. Then this is where you need to know where to go and where to do things in a Windows environment. So these labs are good. You should take it. Using systems configuration tool is the first one. So that's the one that we covered in the first video, where we were just kind of looking around the system stuff. So it's kind of repetitive, but it has more features, and they explain that in the lab also. By going to using run as feature. Now, in a real world environment, where are you going to come across these type of issues? Maybe there's a one power user that want to run some type of update on an application that you may not be able to push it out. For some reason, you may not be able to do deployments on it. For whatever weird reason, you probably need to come across certain type of issues where you need to give someone a run as rights for that specific installation. And I have done that in my help desk career. There was one user that wanted to run an update, and I was like, I couldn't figure this out, so I had to at the end give him a run as feature. So basically you would run that application on its own and get the updates done, and that's it. That's the only one specific application that I give that user. So I needed to know more about it. Okay, if I give run as feature rights or play around with these user rights, am I really compromising the security and things like that? This is where I need to play around with these type of labs. And I think it's important, if you go into the lab let's see what they cover right here. You see right here, these are the objectives that these are the exam objectives that it's going to cover. And if you go all the way bottom and then click on next, there's topology right there, and these are the tasks right here that they're telling you to do. MS config. So when you do MS config, what happened then? Let's do one here. I'm not going to do the full lab. I'm just going to give you a quick scenario here. So see right here, system configuration. You can see these are the things that you need to know, even if you had to deal with something like like viruses or malware or things like that. Why you need to know these commands like ms config, and you're going to come to this point where you need to check the startup, like what's running in the startup. Click on open manager, then you will see all the startup applications right there. You have some other things like services, what services are you need to stop, or some services may be stopped already and you need to restart them and figure the issue, what is going on. Maybe you want to change something with your boot, okay, there's an issue going on with your computer, you don't want it to come boot normally, you want to get it to a safe mode, then you need to click on this button. And that's where in this lab you will learn these type of things, and it is important. I'm telling you, you are going to come across in a situation where you have to come to the safe boot, or you need to change the boot timing and things like that. It's rare, but you are going to come across it, so it's good to know, good to know this lab also. And now going back, there's another one too that says understanding user account control. Of course, if you go more into this lab, you are going to know more of like the user control stuff, like what's around user accounts. How do you do the property changes? Who's an admin? Who's a power users? All that stuff you need to learn in these labs. So I think it's important lab for you to take. Okay, so moving on to another lab here. So that's the Windows user account access. Using Windows features tools, and there's a lot into it, like download and install Windows administrative tools. This is probably the important one for you to know, because someone can actually ask you that okay, I don't want to give you a domain controller or a server access to Active Directory. Do you know any other tools on your system that you can download and access Active Directory? Then they may be asking you, they're like actually looking for something, they're testing your skills. Do you know this stuff? Because yes, people don't have to give you a full server access or a domain controller access or Active Directory access on the server. They can just say, okay, why don't you go and download the Windows administrative tools on your machine, because you're also an admin. Whatever level of admin you are, you still have access to Active Directory, so you will be able to do this. And I shared that in my course, in the help desk course, how do you use these tools and actually use them to access Active Directory and do all the Active Directory stuff. So this is a very good lab right here that you will install. They install Windows administrative tools, and they have multiple different options, and I think mostly you're going to be working on Active Directory stuff. For system admins, they also use like Windows 7 or Windows 10 machines in their environment. They don't just directly access servers, they download this stuff and then they access DNS, DHCP, and some other options over there. Using system configuration tool, again, working with Windows apps. Of course, now we're in Windows 10 environment. We can get away from apps now. They're pushing these things on us, and then there are a few things that you need to know about apps. How do you deal with apps? How do you uninstall an app? How do you customize an app, or restrict them through group policy and different things you can do. And of course, this is not going to be very detailed like that, but at least you will know something about apps, because you don't want to be like sticking to Windows 7 or some older version of Windows and you don't know anything about apps, and somebody just brings to you, oh, I got some apps right here, and then you're like, I thought there was no apps in Windows. So you want to make sure that you do these labs to understand these type of things. Another one's using Windows Internet Explorer. I mean, a lot of people will argue that Chrome is the top one, Firefox is the top one, but when you go to the business world, when you go into like a business, I'm saying, like you become an enterprise level technician or an IT person, I'm telling you, people are using Internet Explorer, and in some companies it is a policy that they use Internet Explorer. They don't even use any other thing because of the group policy, because if it's a Windows environment, if it's a Microsoft dominated environment, it is easy for you to control Windows Internet Explorer through group policy. So for that you need to know, and then you need to know how to reset Windows Internet Explorer, how to reset that, how do you, if there's like, for example, your web browser hijacked or some cookies issues or some whatever weird issues going on into your browser, how do you do a full reset? How do you do like a small reset, whatever you want to call it? And that is also covered in our troubleshooting browser section in our help desk course. configuring ease of access, and then there's a summary, and then you have Windows accessories in there. This is more of like a overall lab on features for Windows. You know, I think it's good to know. You probably will not be using this kind of stuff on a daily basis. You know, you won't be dealing with too many of, you know, like, you know, some weird type of settings. And most of the time when you do these type of settings, it is that one time when you create a full image, meaning you got the fresh computer out of the box, you worked on all these little tiny things, and then you worked some other ways, some techniques and everything that we have shown in the courses, and you take a full backup of it, and then you have like a really nice image. We call it image, or you can call it a backup, and then you have like a really nice one, and then you deploy it to something, you know, new one, like 20 machines to 100 machines. Or if somebody call you that my laptop is crashed, then you have these images with you, and then this is the where you need to really work on, and you need to understand these features. But most probably you will not be working on the accessories and the ease of access kind of things, not on a daily basis. But the Internet Explorer, I'd say that, yeah, that's going to be a pretty much like a normal call for you. So understanding domain, workgroups, and home, I mean, this is probably, if you don't know this, like the difference between a domain environment and a workgroup environment, it is going to be really hard for you to even land a job, because a lot of people are going to really test you on these things. They might ask, there's so many people will ask you in the interview question, do you know what is a domain computer and what is the difference between a workgroup computer? You know, your workgroup, when you buy a laptop, like for example this laptop that I have, I bought it from Best Buy, then this is a workgroup environment. You go to the properties and you can even see right there, it's going to say workgroup. And domain environment is more of like the same laptop, I took it to my company, and then let's say this is my company laptop, the company is not going to give it to me, it's not going to be on workgroup, it's going to be connected to their domain environment like Active Directory and stuff like that. Now, not always. I mean, this is like, I would say 90% of the things are happening like that in companies. They may give you like a laptop that is on the workgroup, but overall, like, you know, if you go to the office, you sit in the office and you log in with your account, and that account is connected to your domain, which is Active Directory, and then, you know, this is where your computer is also connected to the same domain, Active Directory, and this is where you're calling them about that username issue, password issue, and you as a help desk basically is fixing these type of issues, because you know the differences between these two different type of environments. So I think this lab is also very important. But for this we have a full course, Active Directory User Management. If you take that course, you will learn clearly a difference between a workgroup and the difference between a domain environment. I actually create videos right like in a real environment in the lab environment, and I'm connecting computers to domain and taking it out of the workgroup. So these are the real examples that I have shown. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking something is like, you know, going in your head right now, all the images are like coming in, make sure you watch that course. So let me finish this part 3 video showing you now where you can access all these things that I just discussed. Now, not almost everything, but here, if you come here and go to the home page, now of course you're going to start with the help desk course. Now the help desk course, you will go in there and you'll start learning about things, and there's going to be an Active Directory section. And the Active Directory section will have 1 video or 2 videos. That's like kind of like telling you, okay, this is what it is. But Active Directory is a little bigger now, so we need to take that out and put in a small course so we can give you a certificate on top of that. So then we created a brand new course which is called Active Directory User Management Library course. And you can see there's about 4,000 plus people in there, and this is where you learn everything about the domain environment and the workgroup environment from a help desk perspective. So these courses are so powerful that this is what you're going to do at work. Simply I can put that in my, you know, like if I had to tell you something, that is exactly what you're going to do, and these courses are designed that way. So I hope this part 3 is pretty quick one. We want to go through all this because it's a lab talk video, so we don't want to like, you know, waste too much time inside the labs. So we want to quickly finish all these parts so we can get into other labs that are more advanced like servers and things like that. Thank you for watching this. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and let me know what you think. If you have any other questions, drop that in the comment, and see you guys in a different video.